What's up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of Call of Duty doing a little FFA on Carrier. I'm using the PDW with the silencer and the laser sight. And we're going to go ahead and just jump right into today's topic because it's kind of a doozy and I want to try and get everything covered. This is something that you guys have been asking about in comments and in private messages, etc. for a while now, and I want to try and answer it as best as I can without giving direct specifics. So what we're going to be talking about today is how YouTubers get paid, what they make, and just the general guidelines. So before we get into what they make, I need to kind of explain how YouTube works. Now, we're going to be talking from the network perspective, not the AdSense perspective, because most of you are probably going to be gamers. I mean, hell, you're watching a COD commentary. And for gamers, YouTube direct partnership is usually not a good option. There are a very few exceptions, but for most folks, it is better to be with a network than it is to be with AdSense. And I've gone into that on other videos. If you're curious about why, take a look at this playlist, look at some of the older videos, and if you still have questions, feel free to shoot me a message. So how do you get paid? Well, first off, any money you make, you split with YouTube 50-50, regardless of who you're with. Once you've done that, you then split the remainder with your partner network, and that depends on how much you get paid. Now, some partner networks, speaking specifically of Machinima, will give you a fixed rate. They're moving away from this now, and the industry standard at this point is pretty much to do a rev share, which means if you make a certain amount of money, we will split it with you on a certain percentage. And for the most part, that share is somewhere between 60% and 70%. So I will get 60%, they will get 40, or I will get 60 or 70% and they will get 30. So you're splitting your money pretty drastically. So just to give you an idea, let's say you make $2,000, you split that with YouTube 50-50, YouTube gets 1,000, your network gets 1,000, and then you get 600 or 700 of that, and they get the rest. So you're splitting it pretty hardcore, and it kind of sucks, but that's just the way business works on YouTube at the moment. Maybe over the next couple of years, things will change. It'll get a little bit more partner friendly, but that's the way it works for now. So how exactly is this money that you are paid tabulated? How does it work? Well, you need to understand how views work before we get into the payment. So on YouTube, there are two types of views. There is what we call a monetized view and a non-monetized view. On average, a YouTuber is going to have only 60% to 50% of their views monetizable. So that means if you get 500,000 views, only about 250,000, 300,000, maybe as much as 350,000 are going to be monetizable. The rest of them, you don't get paid for. So you only get paid for monetized views, to clarify. Well, what it counts as a monetized view? When somebody comes to your channel, they are going to click on your video and then they're going to see some form of advertisement. If you see an advertisement, you're a monetized view. So if you don't see one, like let's say you're on a mobile device that doesn't support ads, or you've got ad blocker running, or some other script blocker that keeps YouTube ads from running, then you're a non-monetized view. Your YouTuber does not get paid for that view, and you're not supporting your YouTuber. And there are some folks that don't want to support YouTubers, and I completely understand that. That's your call. That's up to you. But if you do like your YouTuber and you do like the content that they're producing, you might want to consider disabling your ad blocker when you watch their stuff, because that little bit counts. And, they're already making 50% less basically for everything they do. It's kind of like getting paid only 50% of the hours you work. So when the monetized views are tabulated, how is that broken up? Well, ad revenue is based on a bidding system. So let's say I'm wanting to sell cornflakes and I've got a cornflakes ad. I want to put that up on YouTube. So I'm going to pay YouTube $20 per 1,000 views, which sounds like a lot until you do the math on it. Well, let's say I sell Frosted Flakes and I like cornflakes and I want to make sure my ad runs. I'm going to bid $21. So I'm going to pay a little bit more than Frosted Flakes or cornflakes. And so that bounces back and forth, and whoever pays the most is who gets the ad space. And there are months where, like in December, where everybody's paying a hell of a lot and ad revenue is pretty good. And then there are months like January where nobody's paying anything and it really sucks balls. So when you've got these views set up like this, The amount that you see is tabulated, and it's a lot of fractions and percentages, but it kind of comes out to a rough estimation. So on average, when you're with a network, you're going to be making somewhere between $3 and $4 per 1,000 monetized views. So if you want to figure out roughly how much a YouTuber makes, take a look at their total views for the month on Social Blade. So let's say they've got 500,000 for the month. Go ahead and divide that by 2. So you've got 250,000 views, and then multiply it by 3, and then multiply it by 4, and that gives you the range. That's basically how you're going to figure out roughly what they've got. So for 500,000 monetized views, that puts you at 250. 250 times 3 is going to put you at roughly 750, and times 4 is going to put you at roughly 1,000, and that would kind of give you the estimate. Now, there are YouTubers who are going to make more. There's YouTubers that are going to make less. That depends on your network, the ads, the revenue, the retention. There's a lot that goes into it, but that kind of gives you the general idea. So hopefully that kind of answers you guys' questions. That's how I kind of tabulate how people earn things, etc., when I'm doing research. Hopefully that answers your questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you do, click that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.